All right, hello, welcome to this weather update. It is October 8th, 2018. It's a little before 9 p.m. and we have to do this weather update because things are really starting to get picking up here in the tropics once again. Leslie is still out there, tropical storm, and we're going to look at that first, and then we'll get to Michael. Leslie is a tropical storm, continuing to be a tropical storm, and it is forecast to move this way. South, almost due south, very strange movement, and then become a hurricane. It's going to become a hurricane again. They forecast it to become a hurricane, and then it's going to head toward. Looks like it's going to head towards Spain. Maybe there's a tropical storm. Really strange. It's really strange. And Leslie's been around for this is like the longest lived storm, I think. It's breaking records. But anyway, the real star of the show is Michael. This thing is rapidly intensifying. And Hurricane Michael is a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-an-hour winds, and it's forecast to become a very strong hurricane up to Category 3, they're saying. And there are already hurricane warnings in effect for the coast of Alabama and Florida and the Florida Panhandle. And this could be a very major disaster for this area once again. Its movement is north of 12 miles an hour. And maximum sustained wind 85 miles an hour, but it's going to become a much stronger storm and rapidly intensify once it gets over those warm waters of the Gulf. Right now, it's still getting some interference from the land, extreme western Cuba, which also has a hurricane warning in effect. But it is going to really this whole area here along the Gulf Coast is really going to have to watch out for this. And then the remnants are going to go up very rapidly up the coast, but they should stay. According to the latest model runs, the worst of that should stay to the south of our area. It'll be an extratropical system by then, by Friday. All right, so let's take a look at these storms here on satellite. So we'll first talk. Oh, and I got to talk about Sergio. Oh, yeah. I got to talk about Sergio too. She said the tropics are busy. Sergio, Category 1 hurricane, 85-mile-an-hour winds. Minimum central pressure 978 millibars, and it is going to be taking a very similar, maybe slightly, looks like they have it tracking now a little more away from Arizona, a little more toward New Mexico and West Texas as a depression. So it might track a little further away from Arizona. Maybe Arizona will not get a repeat of what they had to deal with, all those flash floods that had to deal with when Rosa moved through. Anyway, let's take a look at the imagery here. We'll start with Leslie. This is Leslie right here. You can see it looks kind of disorganized, but it looks like it's starting to strengthen a little bit. It's moving south and east over warmer waters, so it's very possible that it could wind up strengthening again. That is very possible. Now we'll go to Sergio. Here's Sergio. He has look at the huge eye on this thing. Look at the Sergio, another one of these storms with the big eye. Looks like the eye is collapsing a little bit here. But another one of these storms with a really big eye. I've seen this a lot this year, which is really unusual to see. Such large eyes in these tropical systems. And finally, let's look at Michael, which is the storm, storm we're really going to have to watch. And look at that pink there. Those very high cloud tops. This thing is really going to start once it gets out over the water away from this land, it is going to take off like a rocket and easily become a Category 3, if not even higher than that. It might even become a Category 4. So this thing is really going to intensify very, very quickly, as you can see. And we're going to have to look at the models and see exactly what's going to happen with that. So let's go ahead and look at the models and see what's going to happen here. We're going to actually start by looking at that area very closely. So let's go to the regions. Let's change it to Southeast U.S. and let's take a look and see what happens here with Michael. So this is going to be another devastating storm. It's going to rapidly. You can see it has it rapidly intensifying, very strong here. The GFS, and it has it impacting. Looks like right around the Florida Panhandle. Around Wednesday afternoon. This could be a very intense storm. Could be more intense than Florence was. The good news is it's moving. It's not well, it's not going to stall. It's going to move at a pretty good clip, and you can get picked up by the jet stream, and it looks like just to the south of our area right there. And then it could reemerge over the Atlantic. Who knows? Try to re-strengthen or something. But you can see it reemerges. It looks like the heaviest of the rain and the remnants would go over Maryland and Delaware and extreme southern New Jersey, and the worst of it would stay over us. But I want to look at the winds. We're going to look at the winds here. So this is what, yeah, this looks bad. So here we go. So here are the winds, and the winds, it looks like deep purple. So the wind's definitely going to be, it could be wind gusts near 100 miles an hour for certain. And then this thing loses its wind as it moves inland, but then kind of picks up in strength again with the wind as it moves to the northeast there. But that is one model. And now let's look at the Euro. Let's see how the Euro handles this. So we'll just have to change this here. Let's see if it's, yeah, it's got the wind. So let's do the wind on this too. All right, so here is the wind. All right, so that's not the one I want. That's what I want. All right, so here is Michael. So again, it's gonna definitely, it's a hurricane already, and it's gonna pick up strength as it's in the Gulf, and you can see those light pinks. So it has it approaching against. There seems to be an agreement here on where it's gonna make a landfall, which is the Florida Panhandle, Alabama coast, and the winds are probably gonna be maximum sustained winds over 100 miles an hour as it hits this area. The only saving grace is that it's moving very fast. As you see, it's rocketing up to the north and the east. And it's still going to bring some strong winds over to Georgia, probably. So there's still going to be wind damage, I think, into Georgia. By the time it reaches the Carolinas, hopefully it's not too bad of it. And the Euro has it going even further to the south than the GFS. So it looks like the center of the remnants will stay to our south. So hopefully we'll see minimal effects from that. But for this area here, the Panhandle of Florida, Alabama, Georgia, this southern Alabama, this is really going to be the area that's going to really have to, I would, evacuate this area because it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. All right, so let's get back to the GFS model here. We'll get to our local weather in a minute, but I want to just go over what's going to happen with Leslie here. This is Leslie over here, all right, which has been hanging around the Atlantic for, I don't know, weeks already, and see, it's gonna actually pick up strength as it moves southeast into the warmer waters. Again, it's just been looping around endlessly, like caught in like stuck in a circle. Basically, it's really weird. And what's going to happen? The GFS is going to intensify it back into a hurricane, and then take it east towards Spain. So I'm really curious if that's going to actually affect Spain. Let's see if I could bring up another region and see if we can get some. Because it doesn't really show up. Yeah, we could do Europe here. This is very unusual. All right, there it is. There's Leslie right here. Looks like it's going to have it impact Spain. Yep, it does. Wow, it'll fall apart very quickly. Actually, no, it has it impacting Africa. Really weird. Really weird. All right, anyway, let's go to our CONUS view and take a look at what's going to happen here with the weather, right? All right, so there's Sergio as well. So a lot of tropical systems to watch, all right? So there's Michael. It's going to come in, but the good thing is at least it's going to be moving quickly. It won't be stalling around like Florence did. It's going to be moving very quickly. You can see it, heavy rains and some wind possibly just off to our south Friday morning. Then it moves away Friday afternoon. Now we have nice weather for the weekend with that nice big high pressure system building in. And then you can see we have a pattern change. The ridge is weaker, it is pushed off to the south and the east, and we're in a cooler flow, and the temperatures will be much cooler as a result of that. And I'll show you that right now. We look at the temperatures here. So we will look at temperatures. So right now, unfortunately, the next couple days are going to be brutal. So you can see here the warmth. It's gonna be with us tomorrow, Wednesday, somewhat on Thursday, and then that front comes through Friday, and then it is cool for the weekend. I'm talking highs only in the 60s. All right, see the heat is being suppressed. That is the general pattern, is suppressing the heat. And finally, the summer is finally over by Friday. Well, let's go to the Ventus Sky Side, all right, so we can show you what's going on right now with the temperatures. So you can see we have today was a kind of a cool day, kind of murky, some spotty drizzle, cloudy for the most part, a little warmer over Jersey, of course. As far as the humidity goes, the humidity was lower today. It was not a dry day, but it was lower today compared to yesterday. Was sultry. Yesterday was horrible. So you can see Long Island dew points are in the low 60s, but as you go over Jersey, you see those dew points are much, much higher, and that's where that warm front is. So that warm front moves through tonight, and this is why if we change the date to tomorrow, at this time you'll see the dew points are much higher. So, yep, now we're in the high dew points for tomorrow. So you'll see that. And so we're back in very high dew points again for tomorrow. Going to be very uncomfortable tomorrow and Wednesday. Very high dew points along with the temperature being high as well. We're going to have temperatures in the mid and upper 70s. And it's going to feel quite humid. Of course, in Jersey, it'll probably be a little warmer. Wednesday is going to be a little worse when it comes to the heat. Temperatures are going to get up near 80 degrees in spots. It's probably into the 80s in Jersey. And those dew points are going to be just as high as we was here. So we go to the dew point, you'll see. Yeah, dew points will be just as high. All right. So, yeah, like I said, yesterday was sultry. It was so sultry last night. Literally, there were gnats flying everywhere. You could see them flying around the lights. It was unbelievable for October. I had never seen that before. It wasn't a breath of air. It was awful. All right, so let's take the GFS model here. We will take a look now at the dew points. Show you the dew points on this model. So, see, dew points come up. That backdoor front that we had today moves back, and we're back into the same kind of air mass we had yesterday with sultry dew points, and it's going to be brutal. That's all I could say. This is going to be the last of it, though, hopefully, but very unusual for October. Thursday, dew points really come up, probably low 70s, almost near record dew points for October. But then that front comes through Friday morning. Eric, you see that gradient right there, that front, there it is. And that's the front right there. Comes through Friday morning, and then much better conditions by later Friday, and the whole weekend will be very nice. All right, so let's take a look at the cloud cover. Let's go back to the cloud cover and take a look at the cloud cover, because we will have plenty of clouds around, but the sun is going to try to come out tomorrow afternoon, which could make it a little more hotter and more uncomfortable. Wednesday, there's a greater likelihood of that happening. That's why temperatures could reach 80 or above in certain areas, especially New Jersey. Thursday, we'll have plenty of clouds around. At least that'll be the saving grace. Friday, probably clouds in the morning, thinning out in the afternoon. And then for Saturday, we get a nice clear day. And Sunday might be more increasing clouds. But Saturday should be a nice clear day. So we should get a nice clear day out of it. Now we got to go and look at the precipitation. So let's go ahead and look at that. As the main precipitation event that we have to watch is the remnants of Michael. So here come and the front that's going to be moving through on Thursday. Could be some strong thunderstorms with that, given the range and dew points there, the tight dew point gradient. And there's the remnants of it. Looks like the worst of it is going to go south over D.C., Maryland, over that area. But yeah, it looks like it's the worst of it does stay off. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. We don't need any more rain around here. All right. So last thing, we'll look at the satellite imagery here, and take a look at. Here is on the side here. Let me move this over a little more. You can sort of see here. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. All right, there we go. So here is Sergio. Look at that huge eye. Again, with these huge eyes. It's very unusual to see that with these hurricanes. Nobody's talking about that. Here's Hurricane Matthew. Once it gets out over the Gulf, it's going to really pick up some strength. And we have Leslie, too. So we have Leslie as well. And actually, there is one more thing I want to bring up on this weather update, and that is the state of the ice up at the pole. All right, so these are the sea ice readings at the North Pole on October 7th, 2018, and you see where this line is right here, this orange line. That's the median. You can see all this whole area is lacking ice that should normally be there. So we have that, and then we have a very thin ice. There's really very little thick ice. Very little thick ice. This is the only area of thick ice there is. The rest of this is thin, and it really is very thin ice. And this is how close we're getting close to that blue ocean event that I think is going to happen within the next. I think maybe in the next couple of years. I think at the rate we're going, and there may not be any ice. There may be a period where I think I explained this to you in the other videos, so I can explain it too much to you again. But once the ice is gone, that it's going to feed on itself, and what's going to happen is because you have all this darker area here, it's going to absorb more light, more heat, and be warmer. And what's going to happen is first it'll be ice-free maybe for a week or two, and then that's going to be a month, and it's going to last a couple of months, and then eventually there may not be any ice at all year-round in the Arctic. And just imagine the implications that has for the weather. Very concerning, but again, nobody really seems to realize how important this is. Nobody in the media, nobody in the government. People just don't care. They make a bigger deal about other stuff that they shouldn't be making a big deal out. And I don't need to say what that is. You already know it. If you've been watching the news today, you already know what they make way too big of a deal out of. You know, this is another hurricane here that we've got to track because it will be very bad, and people should be preparing right now and evacuating the areas that they're being told to evacuate in the Panhandle of Florida, because this is going to be a bad storm. Once it gets over that Gulf, it's going to take off like a rocket. Conditions are favorable for development, as you see here, and it's only going to intensify very rapidly once it gets over this whole area here. Once it arrives here, it'll probably be a Category 3. That's what the National Hurricane Center is saying. So we got to pray for those people again. It could have easily been us. It could have easily been us. And it's not over yet. You can still get a hurricane could still come here too, but it has been what a year for hurricanes. That's for sure. And that'll be it for this weather update. Take care.